what we do here is go back.
Welcome back, and so today we're changing the spark plugs on my Mini Cooper S. This is the F56 generation with a 2-liter Twin-Scroll Turbo from BMW. Rocket ship, yes. So changing spark plugs, why? Because it keeps the spark nice. I like performance, I like efficiency, so I like to do it every 20-30,000 miles, 40,000 miles, depending on how I feel or how the car feels. And just like any time you work on your car, there are always risks, disclosures and things that, I'm not telling you that you should do this to your car, you should work on your car on your own risk. But also, that things happen, and just like I showed you in the beginning of the video, you can lose something that you need to do the job, like dropping your wrench in the engine bay and then spending an hour and a half looking for it. Yeah, things happen all the time. Maybe you can't get a bolt off, maybe you strip a bolt, and then you have to get creative. But it's all in the fun of working on your own car. So like I said, these are only 30,000 miles on these plugs, and they look, okay. They look okay. The gap is fine, but they're, definitely, I wouldn't mind changing them at this point. I've seen some plugs that have lasted a lot longer that look just like that. So, anyway, and if you notice here, it's actually the exact same part number, except for the fact that these that I replaced it with don't have the little Mini logo on it. So the original ones are the same NGK part number, but they have the Mini logo. This one does not have the Mini logo, and it's a couple dollars cheaper per, and otherwise they're exactly the same. So if you look at it side by side, actually the gap on the 30,000 miles is it looks to the naked eye a little bit wider than the standard gap that comes with the new plugs. But maybe that's because of the spec from the Mini version, but I don't expect that to be the case. Now when you put in the new spark plugs, it's always very important that you get the threads seated perfectly, and that you really shouldn't have any resistance when you're rethreading the new spark plug. And every engine has their own torque specs, but what I do here is I turn it to the left counterclockwise, and that's not actually getting the thread in, but what it is it's making sure that the threads line up perfectly, and you'll hear it click when they do, and then that's when I start to turn clockwise, and then you shouldn't have any resistance because it's perfectly lined up, and then I start to hand tighten it down just enough to get so that it's like all the way to the bottom and pretty much on there without really tightening it too much. At this point you just grab the torque wrench and you adjust the torque wrench to the desired torque specifications. Every car has their own different number, and then just get it on there, and then you'll start to use the torque wrench and it'll click when it's hit that torque, and then you're done, and it's perfectly in there the way it's supposed to be from the factory. You put the boot back on, tighten everything back up, and then one plug is done. And this is moments before that exact situation happened where I had just too many things in my hand. Just a perfect example of what not to do when you're working on your car. You jump from thing to thing, and you have all these tools, and some people use a tool belt, some people just put stuff tools in their pockets, or whatever. And so right now I have in my left hand a wrench, in my right hand a screwdriver, and I realize I'm unable to remove this clip with both of these things in my hand, so I gotta put the screwdriver down, and then I don't think. Yep, the wrench I needed to take off and put on the coil packs just fell down the engine bay.
You're not gonna believe this. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. And this is the best thing ever. Because when I lost it, picked it right up, but I had to go and take the bottom panel off, and it was stuck right under here on the inside, and just kind of pulled it right out that way. So don't do that again.
So while I was able to find that E8 wrench that I needed to take on and put off the coil packs, it wasn't without the help of actually recording this video that I was able to find where it had fallen, and watching that clip over and over again until we figured out, wow, okay, this is probably deep down there, and I ended up having to jack up the car to get to the underneath the car to be able to take that panel off and really get to that wrench. And you know, I got very lucky, but it could have been worse.